GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our weekly wrap-up where we take a look at what's been going on for the week and we wrap it up for everybody nicely. All right, so let's see. Normally I would... Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even go in there and do that yet. Normally I would let's head over to Patreon and use the blog over there because it is better looking. It has images and stuff in it. So the problem is I don't think I did all that this week. I haven't posted the images over there. I got a bunch of them saved, but none of them are actually over there. Let me find out. Here's a link to it. There's definitely more over there. The problem with YouTube is they only give you 5,000 characters to put this stuff. So it only gives us X amount of room over here. All right, so here we go. We're going to basically effectively look at the description of this video you're watching if you're here watching it live, or if you're watching this in the future on whatever platform it might be, the description of this video that you're watching. So if you go down through there, it's just not, it's no real text. There's nothing interesting there. So I'm going to use this one over on Patreon. I'll zoom in a little bit on it. And normally I've added some pictures. I just was doing some other stuff this afternoon, but the stuff's here. I'll add some pictures after the show. So digging in, we've got an awesome week this week. This is actually one of the best weeks out there. We've got a poll out there to see what people think on the YouTube side. So if you are showing up live to watch the show, there's a free poll. You can use the poll for free by clicking on it with your finger or whatever. And let us know how amazing this week was for 2A. Was it 70% amazing? Or I should say, was it 70 to 100% amazing? 70% or more? Was it like something like 50 to 70% amazing? Or was it only like 20 to 50% amazing? Or was it 0 to 20%? So go ahead and put in your opinion there and feel free to type something in there about what you think. But I was really psyched this week. A lot of interesting stuff happened and it just kept happening. Of course, there's some bad, the thing, but what are you going to do? World ain't perfect or whatever. So here we go. We also have a giveaway going on, maybe something. So if you type in hashtag, look at how this works out. Weekly 2A wrap up. See how that works? Weekly 2A wrap up with the hashtag. Shove it over here, like. I think Gizzard did. He's the only one in the running. Actually, is he even in the running? Why isn't this thing taking it? Let me go back. How about I go to the actual one and start collecting comments? Looks like we got 3 of you in there now. All right, so keeping and going on with the show. I'm going to head over to Patreon and dig in. I'm going to put the Instagram from going on into its own show. That's where I accidentally crammed the poll right there. So we'll put the Instagram into a different show so that we don't cram into somebody's after chat. All right, so digging in, We've got the bad news, of course, and I got the list of it, or I've got the link to it here, 365 pages of PDF, and then plus another page on their website or whatever. I don't really want to get into all that, but obviously there's a bunch of stuff there. Oh, it's probably 5 or 6 different things in there that are bad, maybe more, but definitely 5 or 6 like major things. So right out the bat, I'd been posting up some polls about what people thought, what direction we would get the most or most immediate or most effective resistance to this whole new stuff. And I guess we could go take a look at that. I also asked some of the different coverage of it, what people thought would be the best coverage. I guess we can go check that out on YouTube, right? So we'll go back over to the YouTubes. We'll jump from here to the channel on the YouTubes. We'll go from the channel to the community tab. Whenever I can click on it, right? And then it'll eventually scroll down to some of those polls. I have my monthly poll going for which is the best 2A organization. And NRA's got a lot more votes than it normally gets. We see some 5th options here, but I don't know if anybody's commented on what their 5th option is. Foss has got a poll running over there for changing his time slot. So which of these will be the most effective at removing the ATF's rules announced this week? And then comment below why you chose it. The options I threw in here were grassroots activism, 3-letter pro-gun owners' rights organizations, gun shops and retail stores, the gun industry, like the next level up manufacturers and distributors, basically, and then Congress. And it looks like about 63% of the 40 votes, is that what that says? 63% of those votes said grassroots, then 25% said Congress, just a couple said industry, and then even look at how little said gun owners organizations. Isn't that interesting? And then nobody said gun shops. I've included gun shops because they're going to get a lot of burden here, potentially a lot of burden, a lot of overregulation and stuff. All right, you guys got that for me? Thank you, appreciate it. So I guess I got to move that out of the way. So then let's go back to the deal. So then, so we've got the, what do you call it? We've got the poll over here about what people thought would be the most effective at removing this stuff. And then I guess it was actually a poll during one of the readings that I did like this to see what people would think about what's the other one? What the which of the coverages would get the most, would be the most effective. So let's see. I don't think I need this one open anymore, but I think that was the only poll I had going over here. And let's just take a quick look over at Foss's channel because he is contemplating moving the his overnight show to simply a late night show. Simply a late night show, and it looks like it's getting overwhelming results. Second place, apathy. So isn't that always fun when apathy comes in a close second for something? All right, so going back to Patreon, and let's move on. So we definitely had this thing happening this week. Tomorrow is Ask Gun Questions, and we'll do Ask Gun Questions focused on, the 12 hours of that crap I read this week. Because, I don't want to talk about it tonight. There's no point. But it's definitely an opportunity and a challenge. So we'll see. And something that, we all have to deal with now for a minute. So then we'll get into the results of some of that. Now, I don't know yet. They were on Sandhill Media the other night, yesterday, I guess. They were on, and I asked the question, but it got lost in the mix. I asked it too early. If the DC Project posted this video on, like, if this was, like, what am I trying to say? Coordinated, timed, or was it coincidental? And what we're looking at is the DC Project's new video. I think it's called We're on the Offense Now, and it's super well made. Like, it's really good. A lot of good graphics, and the effects are nice. They don't look like they're out of a box or cookie cutter. They look like somebody knows what they're doing and came up with some stuff. If they did use templates and things, then they definitely at least tuned them into their colors and stuff. So nice and bright, easy to read graphics that kind of move around and wiggle like they is the style now. So it's not all old fashioned or weird or not, I don't know what to say, like, it's going to miss the audience because it's boring and old. So I think it's a great presentation, and the message in it, I think it's a little long, honestly. It's 3 minutes long. I think it could be 2 minutes long, but I'm not sure what exactly they're attempting to, where this is going. And you can definitely chop it up. But what it does is it explains a couple of the goals and a couple of the strategies, I guess, or what the ways that the DC Project has accomplished their mission. And we'll see how it does. It's got 1,500 views here on YouTube, but we all know their major platform is stupid Facebook, so I have no idea. I don't know anybody really that pays attention to Facebook enough to give us, who pays attention to Facebook enough to give us good intel on how well this might be doing as far as reach and effectiveness over there. I really, I don't know anything about that part. But this part of it, the part on YouTube, 1,500 views in a couple of days, for what it is, I think is pretty decent. Certainly not viral or anything. But if you're looking for something to do, to practice, something to push around to get used to how the controls work on the various platforms that are out there, especially if you got one of them locals or Minds, or I don't even know all the other ones. I guess I could look on some of these other platforms that are out there, like Patreon, I guess, like Gunstreamer, UTGTube, Minds, Locals, Utreon, Odyssey, Rumble, Getter, Twitch, MeWe, Flickr. Well, there's not too many people on that anymore, probably. Pinterest, probably same thing. Parlor, though. Or no, wait, does Parlor exist? Is that the one that got taken down? I don't know. VidMe, I think that one definitely got taken down. Twitter, though, that exists still. Facebook, and then there's some other new ones, I think. So anyway, if you're on those platforms and you're looking for something to share or to post, I'd say this is the stuff right here. So they posted this week, and it's great. Again, great presentation and a great message, and timely. So we'll see how that works for everybody. All right, so that was leading it off for the week. I usually put these things in order or in priority of how good they are, and that was my favorite thing for the week. So if you had to do just one thing this week, I would say check out that video and share it around. All right, next up is Yankee. So, every once in a while I watch a Yankee video, and with all the garbage that's going on, I was curious to see, just where he'd be about it or what his take on it. And he did a pretty decent video, mainly because he got into offering points or strategies, kernels of info that you could use to have a conversation or at least drop on someone to challenge their perceptions. One I'd never heard before is the idea that with ghost guns being available to criminals, that's fewer or less pressure, I guess, on criminals breaking into people's house to steal their guns. And if that's a side effect, it is a side effect. I don't know if it's one that people want to talk about, but we'll get into that in a minute here. But anyway, this was a pretty decent video, and I've been doing timestamps. If I'm going to sit here listening to something, especially if I'm doing taxes, it's easy enough to just stop doing taxes. You know how easy it is to stop doing taxes? That easy. So do some timestamps for people, mainly so that when I do this show or something like it, go in there and click the timestamp and jump into the blurb or whatever, the what's the word? The whatever the point that I wanted to make or whatever with the video. All right, so that next up is Locked and Loaded. They did their weekly video, except theirs came out on Monday instead of Sunday because they were at that Bear Arms and Bitcoin, like a 3D printing cyber coin and gun type of thing. And I guess that travels around the country. And they were at it over the weekend and then did their show on Monday. So their show was like right after the garbage just came out. And they were talking about all their stuff that was happening over the weekend, and the thing that was happening over the weekend, and knew that there was something imminent that would potentially be focused on the 3Ds and 80% and the kind of stuff that was featured there. So it was a pretty good show. It just didn't beat out Yankee this week or DC Project. Then you get Fudbusters, the dude from FPC. So he did a couple of videos. This first one is kind of, I guess, his reaction, and then the second one would be his reaction from FPC. And it's exactly what you'd expect from FPC, but it is a summary of the situation that you might enjoy. He does do it like he's appealing to little kids with video game attention spans, so it's a little tough to follow those. Then you get Professor Yamane going to a workshop. Notice I got a lot more notes this week. Going to a workshop in Connecticut and doing a presentation on some of his research at a workshop that had a bunch of people who he said in his comment to me, people that ended up being on stage with what's his face, the president, I guess, when he was signing his garbage bullshit infringements. So that's interesting. So it said I was saying thanks for giving us some insight from the workshop. He had brought up some stuff I hadn't heard before. Uncertainty of findings. Dang it, what was that about? You have to go watch it, but I thought uncertainty of findings was a new one. That's why I put it in here. Unintended negative consequences. I figured out after reading the stupid garbage from the ATF all week that there's a name for this. I just can't remember it, but there's a name for unintended negative consequences, especially of government. And but he's talking about having discussions with anti-gunners who are petitioning for bad legislation and using that angle to have a discussion with them. Well, he's not saying that, but I'm thinking that might be a good angle. Let's see. Then policies that affect people beyond the scope of interest. And that's interesting too. So, if you're going to save lives, taking away guns, then how does that policy affect the people beyond that scope of interest? And if they're competent and their policy is efficient and effective, then it doesn't affect people beyond the scope of interest. But if it does, then it fails some measure and it's bad law. So another way to challenge somebody who might just be a brain nerd and think they're so much better than y'all, but you can challenge them on their bullshit chess shit where, hey, does this law affect other people? And then what do we get? Curious to know more about the hospital-based solutions. So, there was something in there about hospital-based solutions he talked about. I don't got time this week to look into it, but now it's in the notes. So one day we'll remember to look into that, right? And then I put in here also interesting to know about this layer of the gun community and that they were interested and willing to have him on. So basically, you think of the antis and it's easy to think, oh, Bloomberg, because that's the sucker bet. That's like thinking all bad comes from one thing, right? So there's Bloomberg, and then there's the politicians, the Pelosi's and the Feinsteins, and who else is there? All the bad politicians that are jerks. And then you got the people that are profiting. I'm sure there's a bunch of people making moms demand more T-shirts. So those people are probably digging it, right? There's a whole infrastructure of infrastructure over there. And somewhere in there, they've got researchers, or at least they look at research. So if we've got Glick, whatever our guy is from the old days, and now we got Lot, they got their person. And I think that's who showed up at this workshop with this professor from South Carolina. I forgot where he's from. And I guess we'll probably get more from that. I think he kind of did this video, if I remember right, was more of a, hey, I'm here and I'm doing this quick, but stay tuned for more later kind of thing. All right, next up is Suicide Prevention Saturday. Had John Petrolino, a writer, on, and it's a little bit longer show than normal. And also Brooke this week has been doing some practice, and then actually for the last couple of weeks been doing practice herself and then using that as an opportunity to share workshop, I guess. Dry practice. I think she calls it dry fire. Let's see. Then we get, oh, snap. So I didn't want to pass this one up. Then Riding Shotgun with Charlie is on, right? And he's got on this guy named Toby Leary. So hands up in the chat if you're listening and you're not one of those federal agents who's getting paid overtime to listen to this. Do you know who Toby Leary is from Rapid Fire Radio? Who knows who Toby Leary is from Rapid Fire Radio? That's the question. So you could also be posting in this poll over here, because that's what all the cool kids do. Only 9 of them so far. And then you could be using the hashtag W2AWU, which is weekly 2A wrap up. Only got 5 people in that entry at this point. So I've been listening to this guy on the radio now for maybe a month or more. And I've been wondering, where did this Rapid Fire Radio show come from? And this guy's definitely 2A, but I wouldn't say he's like a scholar of 2A, but he's certainly more familiar with 2A than most of the radio shows I've heard. So, yeah, I had no idea. And I knew it was some kind of a gun shop or whatever, and it was somewhere back east in the metric lands. But so then Riding Shotgun with Charlie had him on. Not only did he describe the situation in the radio show, but the development and the history of that gun shop. That was cool. That is one of my favorite Riding Shotgun with Charlie's right there. So you get to hear the start of Rapid Fire Radio, a brand new TV or a brand new radio show that's run by a gun shop that's focused on guns and 2A mostly. I think, well, I would say they've always talked about 2A ever since I've listened to it, but they are more, just a radio show or whatever. They answer questions to people, and it's people back east that don't know nothing about guns, so it's kind of basic questions, but whatever. It's people listen to that. And then we hear about the shop, which is super cool. The shop is super cool. So, one of my favorite Riding Shotgun with Charlie's there. Then we get the reload. Does anybody know who he is? Anyone? Nobody's responding. It's just federal agents tonight. If you're a federal agent, you're a jerk. All right, next up is the reload. Exclusive state Republicans introduced effort to block Biden. So I believe this article up here, the first thing that we talked about up here, the thing that Ted Cruz is doing, I'm pretty sure the reload is where everybody started hearing about that from, but I might be wrong. This is the first place I heard it from, and then I started hearing it from everybody else. The reload is this blog. So it's all this isn't all just YouTube. I am trying to incorporate other things. Thing is, there's not that many other things that come across my radar. I'll try to start putting some more newsletters and stuff in here. That's kind of where I got the reload one from. Let's see. So then we get Jenny J1911. Anybody watching her? So I watch. She does live stuff. She's a new channel. I think I featured her before. She's going to be on Echo's show next week on Monday as a live guest, like an interview type of thing like he does. But so in addition to her live stuff, she does videos. And in this particular video, she talks about this PASA Pasa Park in Illinois, which is a shooting range in Illinois. And it has something to do with 2 counties that it's next to or something, or it's in between 2 counties or on the border or something. And pretty cool range that started out as just some people going shooting, and then it evolved and developed and grew, and then it got to the point where they hold some kind of match there. And this isn't a long video, so in a couple of minutes she does a really good job of like enthusiastically explaining the history of this range. Really cool. So there's a link to the range there as well. And again, that's why this week has been so cool. There's a origin story of a really cool gun shop that is back east fighting the real fight, and then turns into a radio show, right? And it's syndicated to where I'm hearing it in Tucson. And then a story of a shooting range from a new gun channel. Let's see. So then we get to Gun Freedom Radio, who, you know what I'm saying? They're like the big leagues. There's all the little people that do their business, the amateurs, and then there's the big league. So they don't always do stuff that's 100% 2A, let's say, because they'll talk about politics and other things sometimes, just plain old guns or whatever. But for the most part, they're focused on 2A, right? Some of the hardest of core activists out there. So they got a couple of videos that are worth watching or paying attention to this week. One of them is with Carrie, who is Carrie, what is it called? Licensed to Carry, right? With her name is Carrie. She's the DC project delegate from Texas, but just an interesting conversation. And how I put in here, watching the development and evolution of the DC project is not just of interest and value to our community, but the interviews are documenting how true grassroots the DC project actually is. Because there's no way to fake this. Like, they're just interviewing each other as it goes along. So unlike you ever watch like one of these made for, what are they called? Like the garbage documentaries on TV, how they'll, give you 10, 15 minutes of content, then go to commercial and come back and give you 5 minutes of recap. There's none of that. It's just regular people talking to each other who are efforting to change the face of gun ownership, right? To change the way that it works. So this was a great interview. And Carrie's new, so you hear about a lot of this stuff and you think, oh, okay, well, these people know what they're doing. Well, it's not. It's more of they're learning together and developing. And what that means is they're creating systems going forward that'll incorporate the next level, the next wave, the next group, right? So they're creating open source activism. Is that a way to say it? I'll go ahead and say it. They're creating open source activism. And so by watching these interviews, it's like watching the users groups in an open source type of situation. I'll keep going without getting too nerdy here. And then the next interview, super interesting. I tried showing this one to DJ yesterday, and I don't think he liked it. But Stacy Washington is an F-16 pilot, or was an F-16 pilot. Now she's an activist. I think she's a grandma. So F-16 pilot, grandmom, or at least mom, and her kids are not at home anymore. And she's become an activist. She also does a radio show. So she had a couple of awesome things. I put some timestamps into hers, but one of them was getting out there and getting some motivation and some inspiration for people that aren't sure what to do. And she just said something to the effect of get out there and do it scared, that the country's worth it. Nobody knows what they're doing when they get started. Just get started. And at a time when we definitely have something on the plate that's worth defending or resisting or whatever you want to say when you got something like this. We had that situation happen in 2013, and the NRA didn't come up and say, here, do this, or hold your thing this way, or put your finger here, or vote for this, or put $1 here. It was just a whole bunch of people independently doing stuff. And what we didn't have was a group of ladies like the well-armed women, or the American, now it is called the Armed Women of America, which is an organization of ladies that shoot competitively and work with each other and have monthly get-togethers all across the country. So hierarchy and infrastructure of ladies that are focused on shooting competitively. You've got the Hunt Like a Girl or Shoot Like a Girl, I think it's called. And that's an organization, again, that's got a national level infrastructure and a state level thing going. Way more people, I think a lot more ladies involved with that. And that one's getting ladies introduced and familiarized with hunting and bows and anything outdoors. So, but also focused on Second Amendment and advocacy. And then, of course, Girl and a Gun, a organization that's based on education, training, get-togethers, fun days at the range, competitions, but not necessarily competition shooting, I don't think. But I'm not allowed to go because I'm not a biologist. I'm not a girl. But 500 ladies getting together, or maybe I'm wrong, and it's more than that now, getting together each year to up train, build skills, and become advocates. Then go back out to their states and do their thing. So we didn't have any of that in 2013. And Obama's stuff was a lot more than this. So watching Stacey, listening to Stacey, listening to Carrie's story, worth it. And I think it's worth sharing these. This whole thing about the internet isn't like, oh, I'm just going to save it up and share the one thing that's so good. It's a good time to start sharing stuff on a regular basis. It'll knock the people out that aren't here. It'll help you discriminate who's here for the fight and who's here to, is it called fair weather fans? You know, the people that are like, oh yeah, I'm into guns whenever it's convenient and easy for me. We might be in a time when those folks can go sit on the sidelines while the other folks get up and do the things that need to be done. Let's see. So then we get the armed attorneys. Did a couple of things. No, let's see. After Gun Freedom Radio, we get Attorneys for Freedom. So this was a short one, but Attorneys for Freedom is lawyers here in Arizona, Mark Victor, and him and the other guy went on and did a conversation about how the process works here in Arizona, which I'm sure is similar in other states, on how to restore your rights and, you know, your rights to be able to own a firearm after a felony conviction. So that's worth listening to. If nothing else, just so you can understand the situation for everybody. All right, next up is armed attorneys, the lawyers out of Texas that Clover had on as guests last week. They had a couple of videos that I'm putting up here. First one was don't share pictures of your gun, which I'm not necessarily on board with, but they're lawyers and they got their reasons and they're lawyers, right? They know a lot more about that kind of stuff than a lot of people. But I did post something in there not to make, because they mentioned at the end of the video that it's ridiculous to think you're never going to post a picture of the gun. And if you, something to the effect of, if we don't post pictures of our guns, then that's leaning into the narrative that guns are bad, right? And that we're not supposed to show them and they're somehow negative. And I'm glad that they brought that up and I mentioned that. And then they gave me a positive response to that comment. So they're paying attention to their comments and they're not just giving the platitudes. They're not just saying, don't do the stuff that's obviously shouldn't be done, right? They're actually giving it a little thought and stirring it up. Some of these things are old conversations, but I'm guessing it's because they're getting these questions. What comes around goes around. If people aren't talking about basic stuff, then they're not learning basic stuff. All right, so next up is the armed attorneys kind of conversation about the garbage coming from the ATF. So that's worth listening to get another attorney's perspective on it. And in that same light, we've got Washington gun law. Do I have this one in here twice? I guess I have. Oh no, I think this one might be different. So anyway, then we got the guy from Washington State who is also got an interesting take on the 80% lowers because they just had them removed from Washington State. So now, obviously, that's going nationwide. It's worth listening to. It's a short video. Let me know what you think of that Washington gun law one. I think Wood said he likes it. Let's see. Then there's this other one from The Reload. So The Reload is a blog, I guess. It's like a newsletter, I should say, which is a blog, I guess. And then they also do a podcast, which is they film and then post it as a video and then chop it up and post sub videos. So I usually just watch the long hour one or listen to it while I'm doing stuff in the yard or something. And that's a link to that one. I didn't put any notes in here. All right, Foss, who was out here earlier, I think. Nope, I'm wrong. Was he out here? No. Yes. No. No. No, he's not out here. Was he out here? No, he was not out here. All right, so every once in a while, Foss is around, and on Wednesdays, he does the mouse party after our tactical quiz. That was pretty fun again this week. And then he also did his overnight show, which, as I mentioned earlier in this show, sounds like he's just turning it into simply a late night show. So his late night shows, still in the overnight slot last week, was called, or no, wait, no, it wasn't. It was in the late night slot. So there you got your late night version of the overnight, and it was Bring Your Topic. So people just showed up and had conversations. Let's see. So then Clover had a video from the Wanamaker Gun Show, one of his videos that he made there at the show. Here, actually, I'm going to take a break and drink some more coffee. All right. So Clover had another video from the Wanamaker Show, which is pretty cool, about a kind of a hidden treasure inside of a bullet that a guy found in a pile of bullets. And I'll let you watch the video. It's definitely worth watching. It's kind of cool. Now, as soon as I saw it and he talked about it for a minute, I'm thinking, I have seen those when I was a little kid, and I don't think I ever got one because I just never did. I don't know why. I don't think I liked it that much or something, or it was too much or whatever, but I don't think we ever had one. But I'm pretty sure I can remember looking through a whole bunch of those. Let's see. This one was pretty neat. Has anyone heard of the channel Defenders and Disciples? Nobody's really been saying anything in the live show for anybody who's listening to this. It's pretty dead tonight. But, or at least, I shouldn't say it's dead, but there's not a lot of people responding when I've been throwing stuff out there. But this channel I found, basically YouTube just threw it at me, I think, Defenders and Disciples, but it might be throwing it at me because somebody I know watches it. I watched a couple of videos. I'm not going to go around subscribing to the channel, I don't think, but I liked this video, 6 lies about the AR-15 told by each side. And it's an example of a new YouTuber who is attempting to offer information, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's a new channel, but an attempt to show 3 things that are wrong and 3 things that are wrong, 3 things that are often said about the AR-15 that are wrong, 3 from each side. So 3 that are wrong from the people that hate it, and 3 that are wrong from the people that like it. And it's cool. Like, you don't see enough videos that are trying to address it from that angle, I guess. So if it gets across to more people, then that's interesting. With 600 and something subs, I doubt it's going to get across to that many people, but let's take a look at how the thumbnail and everything went with it. I didn't write down how many video views it has. 43,000 views since the beginning of the year. That's not too. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, since the beginning of the year. That's not too bad. For a little channel, 600 subs. Probably had 600 at the beginning of the year. All right, so then let's see. Oh, then I guess I put a link in here that read a bunch of the stuff from the stupid ATF garbage. All right, so then we got a bunch of stuff over on Instagram. Like I say, I think we'll do the Instagram stuff on a different channel, or a different show, so that it doesn't overlap, doesn't after cork into, the after show. Do I have everything linked in the description? Pretty much. The description only gives me 5,000 characters, and the thing is, I tried to put notes in this week. So going back, or I guess I'm looking at it here. So in this, I'm looking at it here in the Patreon, and in Patreon I can put titles on stuff, and I can add little lines like this. And as soon as I go back and edit it, I already made the pictures. I just didn't have time to push the pictures into here. I'll add little pictures to give it a little bit of ease of figuring out where the different sections are in the thing, so it makes it look a little bit more like a newsletter. But the thing is, I can have a lot more than 5,000 characters over here because I put in all these kind of notes about the different shows, which are not really necessary, I guess, because it's kind of like what I'm saying anyway, but they're notes to myself because otherwise I forget why I like the show so much and why I put it in here. So as soon as I started putting all these notes in to some of these shows that were worthy of it, I blew away the 5,000 characters that YouTube gives me. So I had to start using just the Patreon blog over here. And what I did is I just told it to schedule and only to just sit there as a scheduled post during the week and go live on Friday morning. And that's probably what I'll end up doing. And then I think that'll change the way it works on YouTube also. Because right now I'll go ahead and I'll set up the stream through StreamYard over here. Well, you don't see it here, but I would set it up through StreamYard. And that would create an instance on YouTube of the video. Like it's in there in the list and it says, hey, the video's coming, right? But if I set that up on Monday, it says, hey, there's a video coming on Friday night. And that happened on Monday. So a lot of people, I'm thinking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that would normally watch this thing live, YouTube is censoring it from them. Like they're not able to get here and watch it. So if I were to set the thing up Friday morning and take the content from that Patreon post that's scheduled throughout the week, that might be the way to do it. And then leave StreamYard out of it, set up the video on Friday morning, and then that gives those hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people an opportunity to show up and watch this live together. You know, a lot of bars will turn this on in the evenings and different other civic organizations will get together and run this. Communities will have like an outdoor movie theater or something, and they'll just tune into the internet and watch this live. Families will get together, extended families, bring the grandparents together, make a really big kind of meal, and then watch this show, learn about 2A, what was so good this week. At least that's a tradition for most people that are out there. But like I say, YouTube censorship has restricted their ability to do any of that, mainly because of the way that I schedule it. So I'll probably start doing it that way. So I do have everything linked in the description, but let's say in an abbreviated way. So what I'll also be doing is adding a link to this Patreon version that's so good, and I keep bragging about how awesome it is, because you don't have to be a Patreon person to watch it or to look at it or to read it or whatever. You can take advantage of it without being logged in or being a member on Patreon or nothing. All right. So with that, yeah, I feel like it's weird starting early or ending early. So let's not end it. Instead, let's see how many people are signed up for this W2AWU situation. So it says 8 people. So I'm going to go see if I can figure out who the 8 people are. I'm looking at Makocho right here. Guns and Barbecue. That's 2. G23 is 3. The Patreon was in here, or Patriot was in here. Nope. I don't want to go back too far because there's Patriot. Okay. So we got 9 now. So we're going about to set this thing going. And here we go. So this is for, I don't know what it's for. Let's see. What should we make it for? Why don't we go over and look at the poll while I figure out what we're going to make this thing for. So the poll, if everybody remembers, was to question how amazing was this week for 2A? And you had choices that gave it a certain percentage. 0 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 70, or 70 to 100. And it looks like overwhelmingly people think it's been about 50 to 70% good, but you know, only 29% said amazing, which are the people that are right. And then 21% said only okay. Those people are being depressed about a big paper mache thing covering the sun. The sun didn't go away. There's just a big paper mache thing in the way. It might just catch on fire on its own, or you might just have to kick the thing in the leg and then it'll fall over. And then your son will come back. And then, come on, man, you know the thing. We all know those are the federal agents who get paid by somebody to do that, by my taxes. Let's see. So The frames thing knocked it down from 100. Well, it's okay. You're allowed to have that opinion. So now we're going over to the giveaway tool. We still have 9 people, but now we're drawing. Oh, oh, it, oh, it, oh. Look how it goes really slow, and then bam. I didn't have any effect over that. So it looks as though 2-time winner over at the Daily Gun, at the tactical quiz on the Daily Gun Show Wednesdays, and co-host extraordinaire of certain shows is DJ Playnice is the winner. So congratulations on that. Oh, I guess I never figured out what the prize is. Dang it. So what we're going to do, since DJ has already amassed a massive collection of Wolverine deals, why don't we just do this? Let me just do this live real quick. Where's that stupid camera? Move this over. Move this. Turn this light on. We still got a minute before Gizzard starts having a fit. Let me get some of these together. And then a couple more of these together. Oh, snap. There's even more underneath there. Oh, snap. There's 4 of them underneath there. A couple of them were trying to get away, but I got them. All right. And then what should I do? Oh, I'll do this. Do this. Go back around over to here. You can't own co-host extraordinaire. That's from like the olden days. It's working off of some old TV show or something, pretty sure. So, dang it, one of them got dinked in the process here. I can't tell. Let's just put it there and see what happens. All right, so let's do this. This coffee is not working at all. My eyes are getting wiggy. All right, so we're going to do this and this, and we can just remove that. All right, so now where's this camera pointing? There. All right, is DJ still here? I think DJ's still here. Get rid of this. All right, so here's the deal. So there's this selection of these 3D printed patches, and they range from the various Tutti Frutti colors from some filament provided by DM Foss, host of the Late Night Overnight Show, and first started printing these things out in this gold color, and then I continued to keep printing them. And when you keep printing something out of the Rudy Tooty change color stuff, look what happens. It turned from silver to red-ish to, or maybe purple, to blue to like a green. This is literally green right here. So at first it was going to be, these were going to be the prizes for the tactical quiz. But then somebody would be getting gold ones for like an hour for like months and months and months, and then they'd be a different color. And what fun would that be? So I started to think about spreading them out a little bit here. So if you go like this, what the heck? Is that still in order? Yeah. Why is this being such a difficult thing tonight? I'm going to put them in half. That'll be easier to hold on to. Spread this out again. This is probably the bad color background, but the other one's difficult right now. So if I started doing it like this, and then what happens is you end up with, actually I was going to do it in 4s, I think. Can this go out even further? I guess it can. So we'll do this with 4. I don't know how well the color's coming out. Some people have seen this already on a flatter surface, and it was a lot easier. Come on, really? There we go. Now, if I start doing this, what happens is, this is probably some kind of a trick that is well known, but I never had a number of color changed things like this to do it with. But what you end up with this way, right, is 4 sets of 5 color changes. So if DJ's interested, I was going to rearrange these, and now I kind of forgot what I was thinking about doing. But basically, DJ's got 3 slots out of here. Foss has 1 slot out of here. So what if I left it like this and just let you pick, which ones you want? Or do you just want this one and this one? Or do you want to start going across like this and have now 3 of them in a row going across? So I guess without putting DJ on the spot, he'll have some time to think about this. I'll probably be able to talk to DJ at some point in the future about this. But that's a little end of the show mystery. How is DJ going to decide which winnings he wants? If he even wants these winnings, he might say, I'm sick of these things. I don't like them. And he wants something else, because we definitely have other stuff to offer him. So with that, we'll wrap this one up. Or at least I'll turn this camera off, because this stuff is getting in my way and I can't click nothing with this in my way. So we'll move that, and I guess I really have to do this. Hold on. Now I'm going to take a second to undo this real quick. My keyboard's underneath here, so I don't want to put these things in some kind of a mixed up order. Okay, with that, we can start wrapping it up. So after this show, if you're not sick of being on the internet, I know for a fact Gizzard goes live. He's after Cork and me. Is there anything after that? I don't know. I just drank a bunch of coffee, so I might work on a project here, and if I still have energy, I might do that Instagram show tonight, or the Instagram show will be tomorrow night. And that'll be a show where we go look at what's been going on, similar to this, except just Instagram, because that ends up taking like 20 minutes usually. So we didn't do that in here tonight. Like say, we'll do that in a separate show later or tomorrow. Otherwise, Gizzard just tonight. Is Caliber Corner moving till Sundays on the regular, or was that just 1 week? But G23 has a show tomorrow. We'll do the Ask Gun Questions tomorrow. Suicide Prevention Saturday has a show tomorrow. Or wait, no, does she? She might not. She's shooting competition this weekend, so there might not be one of those. Or did she say it'll be an impromptu one? Not sure. I forgot now. There's no Foss show. He refuses to do a show every other week. And then Barbecue often does things about meat on Saturdays. So Kingpin is saying that Saturdays is still on the regular for the Caliber Corner show in the morning tomorrow. Then, and Thursday. I didn't know there was one on Thursday. But I did know that there's a Sandhills show on Thursdays. Tell you what, whenever you're checking it, needing to watch something, if you're curious if there's something going to be live, head over to gunchannels.com. That's basically just a list of all the live shows that I know about. And if there's something missing over there or something that's inaccurate, let me know so we can edit it. But it's equivalent to a TV guide for live Second Amendment focused conversations that are done on the regular, so that there's something to schedule. Otherwise, though, this weekend should have quite a few live things. And of course, we'll be seeing responses to the garbage with the ATF. Rick has a Saturday show. Thanks, Patriot. And then Sunday, he got Gizzard. Actually, well, Gizzard is right after this. Gizzard will be on Sundays also. Another live, long format show focused on guns and often Second Amendment. Locked and Loaded Latinos is on Sundays. Probably missing stuff, but there's lots of stuff to check out. Again, check out gunchannels.com for links and ideas of when things are. Otherwise, thanks everybody for showing up live. And missing something? Probably feel like I'm missing something. Thanks for purchasing stuff at the stores. Oh, I didn't even acknowledge Mark's super chat. Thanks much for that. Haven't really gotten any orders from the store that I'm aware of today. So that's our income for the week, is your super chats and Gun Library Garrett. So nobody said you're going to get rich doing this stuff, but it's still something to do. Right on. So I threw a bunch of extras in there. I think I filmed a Thank You Thursday. Never got a chance to post it. Didn't really anticipate doing the 12 hours of stupid reading of the stupid ATF thing, right? And so I don't remember if there was anything in there. I'm sure there was a couple of things you might not wonder what the heck are these, but they were basically 3D prints and some stuff to say thanks. I think you probably got some of the gizzard patches, and well, I don't know. DJ doesn't always open his stuff, but I know DJ got a bunch of stuff too. So with that, again, thanks to people that support what we're doing. Encourage you to keep in the fight. Like I say, we're basically living through another version of 2013 with a lot more resources and a lot more potential in every direction. All right, thanks for showing up live. We'll be back to pick you up later.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com. Do 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 do.